Hello, Tracy Williams here, your success coach, results expert, helping you ignite your path to success. Years ago, I had the honor and the privilege of listening to a man speak who was in the midst of purchasing the Chicago Bulls. And he decided that it might be a good idea to interview all of the team members so that he would know what the heart of the team was, what the character of the players were that he was making this huge investment in. And he decided to interview Dennis Rodman. And if you know Dennis Rodman, he's known for sitting on the court before the game, taking his shoes off, putting headphones in his ears, and kind of going into a meditative state. And when asked by the general public or the media what it was that he was doing, he would say, "Oh, I'm listening to my favorite music. It gets me psyched up for the game." And yet what he revealed in this interview with this gentleman who was purchasing him, essentially, is that he was actually listening to a script in his own voice. What do I mean by a script? Dennis Rodman would, after each game that he would play, he would take some time to record in his own words, replaying the success that he had had in that game. So if he'd had a very successful shot or a very successful maneuver against another player, he would script that. He would reiterate that in his own voice. And then the next time that they played that particular team, he would sit on the court before the game, take his shoes off, plug it into his ears, and he would listen to himself visualizing that play, visualizing the success, so he could imagine himself already having success in the game that he was just about to play. Now, many of you have heard of visualizing in the world of sports. It's very common, right? Even at the high school level, your kid comes home and it's like, oh, we were visualizing winning the game. Our coach had us visualizing the maneuver and the plays and all of that. So we're very familiar with that, and we're very accepting of the success. But the real truth is that successful people throughout history visualize a successful outcome, assume a successful outcome prior to taking the action, prior to the event. So we can take this into any area of our own lives. My mentor and teacher suggests that we could never get to our dream. We must come from our dream. And in order to come from our dream, we have to become it. Well, what does that mean? Well, Dennis Rodman would listen to his own voice, thinking of a maneuver that he was going to do, and he could already see the successful outcome, right? He already knew that this was going to work. And so if we do that about our dream and our daily life and a meeting that we're going into, or a discussion with a relationship, or maybe a conversation that's going to be those 10 sweaty minutes or something like that, right? When we're taking an action where our fears, doubts, and worries come up, if we can step back, push the pause button on those fears, doubts, and worries, visualize a successful outcome. Hold the visualization of that successful outcome. If the fears, doubts, and worries come up, if a different outcome comes up, press the pause button. So I would ask you to think about, when you're stepping forward into something that might be new for you, taking an action that might be requiring some courage, where does your mind go? Does your mind visualize a successful outcome automatically? Or does your mind automatically go to the fears, doubts, and worries and oh my goshes and what ifs? The great news is, with practice, we can change all of that. With practice, we can change all of that. So what do? When we step in the direction of something where the monkey brain wants to start, press the pause button on that. Have that successful outcome already visualized. You can paint it in your mind. I mean, we think in pictures, so we can create that. See the handshake, see the hug, see the tears of joy, see the accolades or the hand claps that you're getting. Whatever a successful outcome would look like in any particular situation, visualize that ahead of time. For some of you, it might be valuable to write it down, to write it out. What is that going to look like? So that you really can create that visual picture in your head. For others of you, you might want to draw it out. Some of you are very creative, but even if you're not, if you can scribble out literally what that looks like, that's a powerful way to do it as well. Now that you have the visual, what does it feel like? Imagine what the successful outcome feels like. Are you standing taller? Are your shoulders back? Are you smiling? Are you feeling like you've served? Are you feeling really happy and joyful and proud of yourself? You might also visualize sharing the win with a friend and imagine them congratulating you. Imagine them giving you that big hug or shaking your hand or giving you the high five. And then over time, your mind will automatically assume success instead of going in the other direction. Visualize that successful dream. Do it again and again and again. Add this to your tool belt, visualizing and assuming a successful outcome. Imagine it already done. Little by little, your mind will do it automatically. Here's to your successful outcome. Here's to your assuming success in every endeavor. Igniting your path to success, Tracy Williams.